Like, I don't want anything to catch on fire. Don't worry, it looks like the candles are close to those flowers, but they're not really. I don't think they'll catch on fire. Hi everyone. So I haven't done this in a while. I have done TBR videos. I didn't do many last year and I missed March, but I did do a February TBR, and I was hoping in this year, in 2023, I would do monthly TBR videos. And actually I haven't done this in a really long time. I think it was nearly 2 years ago, where I used to like put all my unread books in a little pouch like this and then pick out like 4 random books. So I wanted to start that again, and I thought 4 because that's like 1 a week. I think it's pretty doable. If you do like 4 a month, that's pretty good for me because I'm not the quickest reader in the whole world. So yeah, I thought I would do that. So I wrote all my unread books on like little pieces of paper and I put them in this little fairy loot pouch. So I'm just going to pick 4 random books and then I will try to find them on here and I'll talk about them. In April as well, I'm actually going on a skiing holiday. I find with traveling, I do actually quite read a bit because you're on like flights. I think I'm going on a 4-hour flight, so I will get plenty of reading done. It depends on how chill it is that I do some reading in the evening. I'm not quite sure. Apart from that, no major plans in April, so hopefully I'll get a good bit of reading done. So yeah, I'm just gonna hop right into it and pick 4 books. I don't want to tell you how many unread books I have. Way too many. I just made these as well, so I feel like I need to mix it up a bit. Okay, number 1 is, oh, it's a middle grade. Okay, so it's Nevermore. Oh, and also I have the worst handwriting in the whole world. Cool. Actually, I had that on my Vampathon TBR, but I never got to it during Vampathon, so that is good to read. This is a middle grade series and it's written by Jessica Townsend. So it's The Trials of Morgan Crow, the Nevermore series. And I think Morgan, I'm assuming that's her, she's destined to die actually on her 11th birthday, but instead of dying, she's whisked away to the Wondrous Society, where she has to pass these trials. You can only really pass them if you have talent, which she doesn't have any. So I say this might be quite funny, quite whimsical. It's been compared to Harry Potter. That does sound fun. I love books that contain trials, like really love them. So I think this will be a good fun read. I feel like some middle grade books are some of the best written books in the world. So I do, even though as a 30-year-old I'm reading some middle grade. I've heard like really good things about this series, so yeah, excited to get to that. Okay, we'll pick number 2. This one. This is really small. Oh my gosh. Oh! Babel. Or Babel. Some people pronounce it Babel. I would say Babel. I'm just thinking of the Mumford and Sons song called Babel, and they pronounce it Babel. So I'm going to say Babel. I have this beautiful edition of it. Was this a Lumicrate? I never know if anything's from a Lumicrate or Fairy Loot. I really don't know. It was Fairy Loot. It was Fairy Loot. So it was, yeah, I got this from Fairy Loot. So this is by R.F. Kuang. She wrote the Poppy War series as well. This is very different book though. So this is kind of like a magical dark academia book. So yeah, I really love this edition. So it has the tower there at the side. You have characters here on the inside. Yeah, you have 2 more here. I love a dark academia book. This is set in 1830s Oxford, and it's set in the Translation Tower in Oxford. And I think the main character seems to be Canton, who was orphaned and he was brought to England by a mysterious guardian. I think there's themes of colonization in this book. Like the act of translation is getting rid of other cultures, something along those lines. I'm a little bit blurry about what this book is totally about. I know there's like some magical element in it as well, but it's very minimal. But yeah, I've heard fantastic things about this as well, so definitely very excited to read that. Okay, that's a chunky one. Hopefully I get to that. So I'll move on to number 3. Okay, cool, a contemporary. So this is Permanent Record. I think that's Mary H.K. Choi. It is. I like these so far. They're all very different books, so that's good. Like, especially if I want to mood read, I'm like, dark academia, do I feel like reading something light? So that's good. So yeah, this is Permanent Record. This is by Mary H.K. Choi. So yeah, this is about Pablo and Liana. So Pablo is like a college dropout. He has a huge amount of credit card and student debt, and he's working this really dead-end job. And then you have Liana, and she's like this social media starlet. She was a child star, and somehow they meet. I don't think this is a romance though. I think this is actually like a book about relationships and meeting people rather than a romance book. I don't particularly know. Like, I don't know, is it like a friendship or a romance? Looks kind of romantic here, but I'm not quite sure. I don't think this is a straight up romance book. And I think their relationship gets very, very, very complicated. So interesting. Again, heard really good things. So yeah, that's good. I'm trying to get the price sticker off it. I've never read anything by Mary H.K. Choi before. Okay, move on to book number 4 and the last one. So that's definitely enough to read in 1 month. I'd love to take Babel with me skiing, but it's a very big book. Okay, number 4 is... Oh, yay! It's Howl's Moving Castle. So that is... Who wrote that book? This is by Diana Wynne, I think, Jones. Diana Wynne Jones. And this is, of course, the book that inspired the Studio Ghibli movie, which I love, Howl's Moving Castle. I heard that this is very, very different. Like, I think the elements are the same, like the moving castle, I think some of the characters and stuff, but I think the plot is very, very different in the books versus the movie. So it'll be interesting to see the differences in them. Actually, no, this does sound very, very similar. So it's Sophie who gets cursed by a witch, and in the movie she is cursed to become elderly, and she goes to the moving castle where she might get help. Oh, it's the castle belongs to the dreaded wizard Howl, whose appetite, they say, is satisfied only by the hearts of young girls. He sounds more ominous in this than he is in the movie. So yeah, I'm just wondering, will it kind of give me the Studio Ghibli feels even if the plot is very, very different? But yeah, I'm so excited to read this. These are 4 really good books. I really can't wait to read any of these. Okay, so they were my random picks. I am so happy with them all. I don't know what to take with me skiing. Maybe Babel. It'd be good to bring something chunky. And I like that they're all very different. Like, I can kind of go for middle grade whimsy or contemporary or like fantasy dark academia. So I can kind of mood read throughout the month. So I think that'll be really, really good. Love these picks. So I also wanted to like briefly talk about this series I'm in the middle of that I may or may not get to. We shall see. One of them is the next Bridgerton book. So this is book number 2. So this is The Viscount Who Loved Me by Julia Quinn. So in the Bridgerton series you have 8 books. There's 8 siblings and each book is about their respective romances. And this one is based on Anthony Bridgerton. So he's the eldest brother. I really liked him in the first book and the first season. I haven't watched season 2 yet because I do want to read this first. I have to say, I did do a 24-hour readathon where I began Bridgerton. Loved the show and I was quite enjoying the first book. Apart from the ending, didn't really like the ending. If you've read it, you probably understand why. They're not very well written. They're little trashy historical romances, but they're fun. So I would like to read this and then watch season 2. I know I'm very, very behind. Like, it came out ages ago, but I would like to get to this. I think he's Anthony's determined to straighten up his act, find a wife. I think he pursues this girl who's like the most eligible girl in the society at the time, but her sister is kind of really against it, and I actually think Anthony falls for her instead. I think that's the story of it, but anyway, exciting. Chatty little romance if I want to read it. Oh my gosh, I think this is going to be in all my TBRs. I just hope I get to this. So this is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas. So I read A Court of Mist and Fury like last August, so I'm definitely due to read this. I think I'm just a little bit intimidated by how big it is. Maybe I'll take this skiing and that'll make me read it. So yeah, if you didn't know, I was loved A Court of Thorns and Roses, even though there was definitely things wrong with it. I thought Court of Mist and Fury was a little bit more disappointing. I thought it was a little melodramatic. I did enjoy it, but I don't know was the writing style for me. But now that I know what I'm expecting, I think I'll go in with my eyes open to this book. Because I know what I'm getting after reading Mist and Fury. So yeah, if you don't know about this series, A Court of Thorns and Roses, the first book, is like a loose, fairy retelling of Beauty and the Beast. So we have Feyre, she accidentally kills a fairy. She's kind of taken to the fairy realm against her will, and she has to live in the spring court with Tamlin, and she's the beauty and he's the beast kind of story. And yeah, these are kind of like fantasy romance books. They're fun. Are they melodramatic? Absolutely. Are they well written? I don't know, but they are fun, so I definitely do want to get to this. And I think honestly I really need to prioritize it. I really need to just read it. So yeah, maybe I'll take this skiing with me. Now these next ones, they're not kind of high on the priority list, but if I get a lot of reading done, I would like to get to the next book in the Darker Shade of Magic series. So this is A Gathering of Shadows. It's book number 2 in this series by V. Schwab. I loved A Darker Shade of Magic. Loved it. The main character is Kel, and he lives in this world where there's like parallel worlds, and he has the ability to kind of hop between each one, and they're all based in London. So you've got the 4 Londons. You've got white, black, red and grey London. He's from red London. He meets Lila, who's from grey London, which is our London. Lila wants to become a pirate. She's kind of like a pickpocket. She's just trying to survive. Kel kind of smuggles things between the different Londons and he gets himself into trouble. It's such good fantasy, like action, fast-paced fun book. I really loved it. Gave it 5 stars, so I'm really excited to get to this. But yeah, it's kind of low on the priority list. I'm definitely going to read all these books first before I move on to this. And then in terms of if I want to read like a quick graphic novel or manga, I do want to move on to Tokyo Ghoul. So I read the first one, but I'd love to move on to number 2. And Tokyo Ghoul is about, I think it's Ken. Is Ken his name? So yeah, they live in this Tokyo where ghouls and humans kind of live alongside each other. Ghouls feast on humans though, and Ken becomes the first kind of ghoul human hybrid. So it's all about like kind of him learning how to manage his appetite, manage his new life, learning about ghoul turf wars, all these kind of things. Really good stuff. So I do want to move on to number 2 if I can. I think there's 13 manga in the first series, and then there's Tokyo Ghoul RE as well. But yeah, if I feel like something shorter manga series, I think this is definitely my go-to. And then in terms of graphic novels, I would love to read the next Lore Olympus. So yeah, this is volume 2. I read volume 1 recently, loved it. It's like a Greek mythology set in like modern times. It's kind of the romance between Hades and Persephone. It definitely has like dark themes, but it has a lot of like really funny things that happen as well, and really funny drawing and witty banter. So love it. Really can't wait to move on. I think I have 2 and 3, and I think 4 is coming out in May, so I would really like to get to these before the 4th one comes out. So yeah, that's a lot of books. I hope I read a lot this month. Oh my gosh. But I actually do think it's doable, especially if I prioritize right. I'm too much of an optimist. I don't know. We shall see. It really depends on how much I get read during that trip. And I'm not sure. I'm hoping maybe I might do a reading vlog while I'm there, because I think I might get like really nice footage. So yeah, this is my stack. In fairness, 2 of them are graphic novels, 2 of them are middle grade. One of them is a little romance book. Like, I don't think this is not doable. I think this is doable, but we shall see. Oh dear, that's a lot. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I do anything book related on this channel, so if you want to subscribe, I do reading wrap-ups, I do TBRs, I do reading vlogs, hauls, all that jazz. I'll leave all my socials in the description, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.